church, saw the gap-toothed children with matted hair and dirty rashes on their round faces playing by the side of the road, glimpsed in windows the blank, gray faces of young women, and the old men's and old women's faces collapsing like rotted fruit, the broken toys and tools and ravaged carcasses of old cars lying randomly in the packed dirt yards, the scrawny yellow mongrels nastily barking from the doorsteps at my passing car. As I drove through this melancholy scene and thus neared the home of A, it occurred to me for the first time that I might write a novel with A as the prototype for its hero. I will tell you how I arrived at such a notion. It fascinated and amazed me that a person born into squalor such as this could grow to his adulthood in that same neighborhood, and yet could possess qualities which, upon close examination, could be seen as both wisdom and passion. How was that possible, I asked myself. And then I asked myself if A possessed these qualities, wisdom and passion, in fact, or if he were merely peculiarly mad. But on the other hand, I countered, even if he were peculiarly mad, and if his peculiar madness, which sometimes took forms that could be construed as wisdom and passion, happened to be a condition necessary for the man's mere survival, after having been born and raised in social circumstances that ordinarily dun a human being to death, turning him wormy with passive, quiet desperation long before he reaches adolescence, why then madness was indeed wisdom, and to cling to such madness was passion. That way, spiritual survival became, in my eyes, self-transcendence, practically an evolutionary move on the part of the organism. The question of love, its mere possibility, a question that had haunted me in my long consideration of A's character, thereby became wholly irrelevant. He was beyond offering love, above it and superior to it. At least the kind of love that I, from my indulgent background, had learned long ago to value in myself and seek from others. This was for me a welcome series of insights, and I felt greatly relieved, as if from a dreaded, demeaning chore, like cleaning out a septic tank. I thought, any person whose life provides us with that particular relief is worth writing a novel about. For who among us has not wished to be freed of his need to love and be loved? It was with considerable excitement, then, that I approached the turnoff from the paved to a dirt road, practically a trail that led through a quarter-mile of approximately flat and unkempt fields to A's home. The fields on both sides of the deeply rutted road, lined with slowly collapsing stone walls, had retreated to furzy bushes and scrambling tangles of wild blackberries, sumac, and poison ivy. Scattered over the fields in no discernible pattern were 10 or 12 rusting shells of windowless cars and trucks, some of them further decomposed and more nearly destroyed than others. Also several farm vehicles, harrows, plows, cultivators, a one-handled wheelbarrow, an outhouse lying awkwardly on its side, rusty bed springs and swollen mattresses spitting yellowish stuffing onto the ground, a pile of 50-gallon oil drums, an engine block and a transmission housing, both lying atop a child's crushed red wagon which lay atop an American Flyer sled in splinters, next to a refrigerator, with the door invitingly open, I noticed, and a red overstuffed couch which had been partially destroyed by fire. None of this wreckage was new to me. I had observed, enumerated, and reflected on all of it many times, both alone and with friends, especially with my friend C, about whom more later. The fields and the road were all part of A's property. But a stranger, noting the broad, carefully maintained lawns, gardens, house, and outbuildings, which spread out from the closed gate at the end of the cluttered fields, would surely infer two separate and probably quarreling owners, one for the fields and badly maintained roadway, another for the house and grounds. But that was not the case. A was fastidious and energetic, even compulsive, about the maintenance of the house and the yards, gardens, and outbuildings that surrounded it. The region that lay beyond the white iron rail fence, however, he cared for not at all, even though some